Arsenal 2003-2004. 38 games, 0 losses. The Premier League couldn't touch them. Not Fergie's men, not Big Sam's Brexitball, not even Spurs. But that's not really a flex, right? It was basically the only thing keeping Arsenal fans happy since they started treating second place like a trophy. Nah, just joking. People forget how hard it is to go unbeaten in the Premier League. This isn't League One where PSG stat pads against Strasbourg twice a year. This is Bolton away in February and Roy Keane staring into your soul like he wants to remove it. And somehow, Arsenal danced through it all. With Thierry Henry as the nowadays Mbappé, Bergkamp whispering to the ball, Vieira two-footing history itself, and Jens Lehmann, the angriest man to ever wear gloves, keeping the backline undefeated. But the most insane thing is that the Premier League gave them a golden trophy. The only time the Premier League said, you know what? You're so good. Let's forge an actual piece of royalty for you. Now, every year, Arsenal fans dust it off. This record isn't just unbreakable. It's Arsenal's entire personality. 2023. This time it's Erling Braut Terminator. First game, goal. Next game, goal. Next one, hat-trick. Somewhere in there, defenders collectively realized they weren't facing a footballer. They were facing an actual robot with shin pads on. 36 goals. In a 35-game season. Half the time he looked bored. The other half, he looked like he was deciding what to eat after the game. Haaland didn't even take penalties most of the time. Pep had him on a leash like, no, Erling, let the others play. Imagine if he'd had Cristiano-level greed. We might have seen 45. He was scoring goals that looked illegal. He made defenders look like bribed grown men with mortgages. People thought, oh, but the Prem is tough, the Prem is physical. Haaland just did what he was doing in Germany, except now with De Bruyne passing missiles disguised as through balls. Now, every striker who scores 22 goals is getting side-eyed like, is that it? 13 Premier League titles for Sir Alex Ferguson. That's more than Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester City combined at the time he retired. That's not a manager, that's a dictator with a football agenda. But let's not pretend this was all sunshine and tiki-taka. This man built empires out of chaos. Midfielders who couldn't dribble but would two-foot your nan. Strikers who smoked at halftime and still bagged 20. He turned Park Ji-sung into Lionel Messi but only against Arsenal. He created systems that made Anderson look like a competent footballer for 3 weeks. That's voodoo shit. He won with kids. He won with Rooney, Ronaldo, Van Persie, Berbatov and Tevez. Tactics? Never heard of. Sir Alex's tactic was, win or you're dead to me. And it worked. Players feared him more than taxes. Ask Beckham, ask Keane, ask anyone who ever made eye contact with him after a misplaced pass. He won his first Premier League in 1992. He won his last in 2013. That's 3 different decades of smoke. Generational warfare. He outlasted managers, ownerships, and about 4 Chelsea rebirths. Wenger outmaneuvered Benitez, mind games casualty, Mourinho. Even he had to acknowledge the king. Pep's amazing, but he'd have to win 7 more just to tie. And that's assuming his brain doesn't explode from overthinking a Burnley fixture someday. Now Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry, they both gave 20 assists in just 1 single Premier League season. That's not playmaking, that's wizardry. Henry wasn't just scoring for fun, he was also setting up everyone else like he was bored of being the main character. Thierry was out there dropping dimes like he was getting paid by the assist. But then King Kevin, peak 2019/20. His right foot was basically Google Maps for strikers. Just follow the coordinates and boom, it's a tap-in. Shout out Haaland. This record should have been broken already. KDB's expected assists that season were probably 90, but Gabriel Jesus was out there converting at the rate of Jordan Henderson's pace. Getting to 20 assists in a league where half your teammates treat finishing like interpretive dance? Unreal. It's not just vision, it's patience, sanity. Some of these passes deserved their own awards. De Bruyne had, well, sometimes Aguero, but mostly, was that Sterling again? Could someone else get there one day? Maybe, if they've got KDB's brain, Henry's pace, and a striker who doesn't shoot like he's wearing Timberlands. Mid-2000s. For 4 straight years, 86 league games Chelsea refused to lose at home. 86. That's 2 full Premier League campaigns plus change. Teams would show up at Stamford Bridge, see the floodlights, hear Mourinho snarling instructions in 5 languages, and immediately consider self-sabotage to preserve dignity. And the way they did it? Ugly. Mourinho basically didn't care how the soup tasted, only that it boiled. Drogba would fight defenders like he was collecting debts. Terry and Carvalho built a backline so tight it probably broke zoning laws. Petr Cech wore a helmet and still saw the game 10 seconds ahead of everyone. People called it boring, but it worked. Even Arsenal's Invincibles lost at home. United lost at home. Liverpool even got rolled by teams in relegation, basically nowadays United styles. This record ended after Mourinho was gone, with a loss to Liverpool.
Chelsea's home record has gone, and it's Liverpool who have cracked it after 4 years and 8 months and 86 games.
A team that, at the time, still hadn't figured out how to do basic defending, but managed to sneak a win and end the run. Poetic chaos. Basically, you'd need Jose Mourinho from 2005, not the Roma version who's out there starting beef with ball boys. Sadio Mané and his 2 minutes and 56 seconds. That's how long it took for him to ruin someone's afternoon, embarrass the defense, and casually drop the fastest hat-trick in Premier League history. Southampton versus Aston Villa, May 2015, and Villa came in with 11 players what actually looked like they stood there with 8. Because in the space of a single ad break, Mané ruined their defense. You've seen fast goals, you've seen hat-tricks, but 3 in under 3 minutes, that's not supposed to be real. That's something you do on FIFA with beginner mode on. And the best part, no penalties, no VAR, no time to even comprehend what was happening. Mané scored a hat-trick before most of us finished microwaving leftovers. And who's matching this today? Haaland is a machine, but Pep would sub him off at 2 goals for rest. Salah takes 56 touches to score 1, but Darwin Núñez could actually do it. Nah, just joking. Now Petr Cech, in the 2004 to 2005 season, he kept 24 clean sheets. That's not goalkeeping. That's gatekeeping the entire concept of scoring. To be clear, this wasn't parking the bus. This was building a wall, adding lasers, security guards, and a moat. No, really. Jose Mourinho walked in, whispered "no fun allowed," and suddenly goals were extinct. Petr Cech wasn't even diving half the time, because the ball never got to him. Terry and Carvalho were blocking shots like their lives depended on it. Makelele sat in front of the back four like a bouncer outside a club, turning away every hopeful through ball. But when Cech was called into action, he made it look too easy. Reflexes of a ninja, not even talking about his helmet. Nowadays, football is chaos. Fullbacks are basically wingers. Midfielders are pressing machines on Red Bull. Defenders spend more time on Insta than marking. Clean sheets? You're lucky to get 5 in a row before some random guy named Jared Bowen decides to turn into prime Ronaldinho. Cech did it 24 times in one season. That's 2/3 of the league campaign where he just said, nope. And sure, some goalkeepers have flirted with the number. Ederson, Alisson, even De Gea during his world-class but still concedes due to Phil Jones' era. But 24? Nah, too structured, too Mourinho. You'll need an actual clone of 2005 Mourinho, otherwise the checkpoint is closed. 2017-2018 season, the year Manchester City decided football was too easy and got 100 points. Just imagine, when you get 100 points, you need 33 wins and a draw. That's 33 times Pep Guardiola watched his team dominate possession like it was colonization and still found something to shout about. The man was winning 5-0 and was still furious because the third goal didn't involve 17 passes. Now let's talk about why this won't happen again. For starters, football's more chaotic now. VAR is drunk half the time. Refs are allergic to consistency, and mid-table teams are built like gym instructors with tactical degrees. You'd need a squad worth $500 million, a manager with 17 assistants, no injuries, no dips, no cup distractions, and literally zero complacency from August to May. Oh wait, that's still not enough, because City themselves haven't done it again. Even with Haaland now scoring for fun, they're hitting 90s and still sweating title races with Arsenal always placing second. Pep even had fullbacks playing central midfield, centre-backs with 93% passing, a goalkeeper who was better with his feet than half of Arsenal's midfield. Lionel Messi. This guy has 8 Balon d'Ors, and let's be very clear, this is not he won it a bunch and it's close. No, this is he won it more times than most elite countries have competent strikers. Some players dream of a nomination, others pray for a top 3 finish. Meanwhile, Messi was so consistently brilliant that winning it started to feel routine, like brushing your teeth, just another morning kind of thing. And yes, you've got the usual suspects who might one day catch him. Cristiano Ronaldo with 5, he's already in the GOAT room, but he's also got one foot in the retirement villa and the other doing TikToks in Saudi Arabia. For the Balon d'Ors, the race is over. He's in second. Mbappé maybe? The kid has the talent, no debate. But Balon d'Ors aren't just about talent, they're about timing, and Kylian's got the misfortune of sharing eras with prime Messi and Ronaldo, modded up Haaland, and a French national team that gets bored after 45 minutes. His PSG years were spent scoring 35 in League One, while Messi got 15 assists in 6 Champions League games. Haaland literally broke the Premier League's goal matrix. And yet, even after a treble, even after terrifying keepers on a weekly basis, he still got second place to a 36-year-old Messi jogging through MLS. Even when you think someone else had the perfect season, like Lewandowski in 2020, Messi pulls a joke or something and casually makes it about winning Copa America with a squad that had Otamendi in it. The only scenario where someone might pass Messi is if FIFA adds double balance per year. One for stats, one for vibes. Or if Haaland plays until he's 40 and City wins the quadruple 5 years straight. Or if Mbappé at Real Madrid scores 50 while curing VAR's incompetence in the same season. But realistically, number the record safe, because football doesn't produce Messis, not anymore. Kylian Mbappé, aka Usain Bolt. At his peak, Mbappé hit 38 kilometers per hour, and not in training, during a World Cup match, against Argentina, in a knockout game, while carrying France on his shoulders and making Nicolas Otamendi's knees do the Macarena. Even cameramen struggled. Commentators screamed like they'd seen a UFO. And Otamendi, he was last seen checking into a chiropractor. And just to be clear, 38 kilometers per hour is track athlete level. That's Usain Bolt territory if he had shin pads kind of stuff. There are motorcycles that struggle to reach that in residential zones, but this record might actually fall. Because unlike Messi's Balon d'Ors or Ferguson's 13 league titles, speed is a physical thing, so repeatable. Alphonso Davies has been clocked at 36.5 kilometers per hour during a full sprint, and he was even dribbling at the time. Erling Haaland, despite being built like a Norse fridge, hit 36.2 kilometers per hour during a match. Achraf Hakimi and Adama Traore have both been radar tested into the 36 to 37 kilometers per hour range. The fact that Mbappé still tops them tells you everything. Academies track VO2 max and lateral explosion like it's Formula 1 telemetry. Somewhere in Spain or Brazil, or let's be honest, Red Bull Salzburg, a teenager is running laps that will make even Mbappé turn his head and go, wait, what? And when it happens, clubs will instantly start offering 100 million euros just for GPS sprint data.